Unchurned is presented by UpdateAI.
Practically here too, like I haven't had a title bump in 3 years. And there has been a shift for me, not so much of a patience, but of a mastery that once you get up to these kind of elevated steps, we're now looking at what our upskilling looks like without a title bump. And I'm taking a lot more value in the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm able to provide than just a line item on a LinkedIn profile, right? And I'm really curious how that's going to kind of like filter down into the younger generation that does have this expectation of like, I graduated from this college and I deserve a director title, right? It's like, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Unchurned. Rachel Choi is our special guest today. She is the head of customer success at Komodo Health. Rachel has been there through the growth of the company, which is really exciting, and we're going to hear about that. Rachel is based in California. And so, Rachel, welcome to the program. We're so happy to have you. You and I have been talking. We've spoken since the very earliest days of UpdateAI when I was doing like the most basic UX research of what is this thing called customer success. And so thank you for those initial tips. And so tell us a little bit about Komodo.
Yeah, so Komodo Health, we are a healthcare data platform company. What we do is we really stitch together the identified patient-level data, create this healthcare map, and then we build products and our platform around the insights that you're able to get from having all of the best data in this healthcare map.
So I just want to, so just very, very, very careful operative words here. So you stitch together the identified patient data or de-identified patient data.
Yes,
Big difference there.
So non-identified. So you cannot know who it is. Everyone is like, all of us are probably in this map, but we are, tokens. So you won't know that it's Rachel or Josh or Jon. But
you have their data. You were telling me this last time we spoke. Like you've got my data, presumably number 001002. You have my data from past health insurers, like through decades of my life potentially.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool.
So one of the big things here that we're able to do is just being able to aggregate it from lots of different disparate, sources essentially, and then stitch it together. And I think having that patient history is really valuable for, just having that thorough patient insight essentially.
So you take all my health data, you throw it into ChatGPT, and what comes out?
Well, for you, Josh, specifically,
you need to work out more.
Well, that's for sure. You don't need ChatGPT for that.
No. But I think like what's exciting is that like you can really kind of understand big population trends that are happening. You can understand potentially which doctors you should potentially call on if you're a pharma company and you have this new indication for a particular therapeutic out there, right? And so you can say, hey, this group of doctors tend to see this type of patient, and we have a therapeutic that can really help this patient population. So you can really get, just better care and better therapeutics out to more people if you have a better understanding of the people.
I feel like we haven't heard the trend of like big data recently. That's kind of been usurped with AI, right? But like when I think of like big data and that era of startups and whatnot, like that, you guys have to be like the quintessential big data company with what you're
doing. Definitely. And I will say, I think AI is going to make getting those insights so much easier. That's something that we're really thinking about as well. But in order to get good insights, you have to also have good data to start with that, right? And that's not as easy as it seems with, certain types of data.
And is it just a coincidence that you have a PhD in biochemistry, that you're now working at this company of all of this clinical and health data? Or is that just, how did that work out?
I've always been very interested in just like the science, healthcare side of things. And yes, did get my PhD, but I decided that working at a bench, as a scientist was a very lonely type of role that I just realized I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. So moved very quickly after getting my PhD over to, in consulting, started working on teams, working with people much more collaboratively, got my kind of start in the startup world with the first startup I joined called Science Exchanged before moving over to Komodo Health, but always kind of really enjoyed that client side of things and customer service and customer success. And that just led its way very naturally into what I do today.
Okay, this is actually one of the questions that I had too. When you're kind of talking with your CSMs, you talk about big data, you talk about insights for your consumers or customers. How are your CSMs presenting that data? Are they strategic, or are they more industry specialists within healthcare?
Yeah, good question. So our CSMs, I would say, are much more strategic and trying to partner with them and understand really their use case. And then the nuances of the healthcare side, we do have specialists within our organization that can really help provide kind of the right framing for the analytic, the right insights for that analytic. But we try to help from a CS perspective, having that conversation essentially. So yeah.
Got it. Josh, go ahead.
Thank you, Jon. Thank you. Now, I want to talk a little bit. So Komodo, you guys are 10 years old. You just celebrated your 10-year anniversary. You guys have raised a bunch of money. You're at like your Series E or something like that right now. You've got Andreessen Horowitz involved, amongst other top-tier VCs. You joined when there were 150 people, and now you've got 600 to 700 full-time employees there. Tell us a little bit about the way that you lead post-sales CS. Actually, do you lead post-sales or CS? Tell us a little bit about like the constitution of under your purview in that post-sales world.
Yeah. So right now I don't lead full post-sales. I lead CS, and our post-sales organization, there's lots of different teams that are really involved in that post-sales world for the customer really. So, our post-sale, we close the deal. We have an implementation team, right? We set up the product. They get it already QA'd for us. And when I say us, then a customer success person can come in and really train, onboard, set up that customer in using the product that they purchased from us. We also manage that ongoing engagement with the customer. They have questions that come in. We then send that over to our internal support teams or, product teams or analytics team, whichever is the right team that can answer the question or the issue for our customer. And then, we also support our account managers in the renewal process as well.
And what's the size of the team, generally speaking, the layout of it?
Yeah, so the CS team is just under 30 people. Yeah.
Cool. And you've got multiple pods, is that right?
Exactly. We have 3 teams. We have 2 teams focused on our life sciences customers, so pharma, biotech, and then 1 team that's focused on all of our non-life sciences customers. So think digital healthcare, healthcare services, payer provider side, consulting as well. I'm
curious how you're tracking metrics with your CSMs, right? So is this a usage-based model? Is this what are the KPIs that define success with your CSMs?
Yeah, great question. So for us, definitely like product utilization, right? Like making sure that they're up and running and actually using the products during onboarding, during ongoing engagement. I think the other things that we really look at is ensuring that they're getting all their support questions, answered in a timely manner. Some of the support questions, like we're able just being on CS, we know the answers to them. So we might help with some of those. Others that require more specialists and triaging through our analytics team and our support organization. Those are ones that we work with those teams to ensure that, we're answering the issues in a very timely manner as well. So those are kind of like the typical, I think, leading KPIs that we look at: usage, support. I think the lagging one, of course, is the renewal rate, right? Like ensuring that there actually is renewal. And we really look at as a company at net dollar retention. So, are they using us and growing with us as well?
What are some of the biggest rocks that you're pushing up the hill, the biggest focuses and priorities for you right now?
Biggest focus and priorities right now is that for me, I'm thinking about a lot of the customers that we have up for renewal. So making sure that, we're very tight on having those conversations, ensuring that we have the paperwork in, to our customers in time. Those are all the things that I'm really thinking about for Q4 from a customer perspective. And then I think, as is typical for lots of companies, I'm also thinking about fiscal year planning for next year. So, what are the things that we want to evolve on the team, evolve in our processes? How are we operating as an organization, and how that might change as well? So, that's always like
So what do you want to evolve?
What's top of the day job? Right?
What's on top of the day job? How do you want to evolve as a group next year?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I would really love for us to do more distinctly is really separate out kind of support from customer success activities. And I think that's very common in a lot of, organizations, right? Typically, a first CS hire is going to do everything post sales. That involves implementation, that involves support, that involves account management, that involves really all of the things that you would be doing for a customer, just to ensure that they are happy and want to renew. And of course, as you grow, you start separating out, hey, there's these folks that are really good at technical implementation. So let's set that up. There's people who are really good at, solving the support issues that come in. Let's start separating that out. I think we're at that kind of like phase right now where like support needs to be more separated out so that the account management activities or the customer success management activities can be, not, I guess, overlaid with so much support that needs to be done too by the CSM.
So separating support out, and you have thoughts about how you're going to be doing that?
I do have some thoughts. We're still
do you have concepts of ideas?
Stages of that. Sorry, say again.
Do you have concepts of ideas of how you're going to be doing that?
I have concepts of ideas. I think, of course, having tiered support, right? Like there needs to be people who can really solve level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 is probably going to be more on the product and engineering side, right? But this is going to be a very cross-functional, collaborative, big thing to solve. So not something that customer success can solve in isolation.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Josh. Ever wonder what your team's missing in customer calls? UpdateAI doesn't just take notes. It captures the moments that matter. It auto-builds account plans, spots risk and upsell signals, and services the themes your execs actually ask for. It's what top revenue teams are using to stay ahead. Message me at josh@update.ai. I'll show you how it works.
What else? What are the other priorities for you after support?
Other priorities. I think it's always really important to thinking about team growth and opportunities for the team. I think one of the things that we historically had as a team was we had the concepts of associates and senior associates. You moved to manager and senior manager and principal. I think probably not dissimilar to other tech companies as well, thinking about like a more flat organization, with maybe fewer multiple levels. And because of that, not having as many entry level folks and having more of like the mid senior level type of CSMs. So just like kind of that evolution of like what a team structure might look like, and then how we ensure that, people still see that path for skills development and knowledge development and not just title growth as well.
This sounds like it's coming from a manager who is being pinged by many teammates for that promotion in December. Maybe.
Can you hear it in my?
Yes, I can hear.
I hear your Slack going off right now.
And Jon, I want to hear the same from you. I want to hear your stories about that. I mean, I was just talking to a leader, same level as yourself, Rachel, and on Friday, and she was actually saying, like, I mean, it's crazy the expectations of some of the folks that are a little bit newer to the workforce, of promotion cycles, and she sets the expectation very upfront when they're first hired. It will be no less than 2 years until you get promoted. And of course it could be less if you're like a rock star and et cetera, right?
Of course.
But like just set that expectation. It's going to be 2 years. Are you in for it? Because I don't want to hear from you in 10 months. Hey, I did a wonderful job now in almost my first year. Where's my promotion? John, what do you see at user testing? I mean, well, at user testing, it's maybe a little bit different culture, but you just want to, kind of either be, well, I won't digress. I'll step back on that comment, but what are you seeing, John?
Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty similar experience too. Obviously, like career growth is predicated on company growth. And I don't know many companies right now that are growing. And I would say, kind of taking a step back, I don't see success before 2 years in a role. Like how often as a CSM, you win, you have a great quarter, you have a great year over year, and then you go to your boss and you're like, hey, I had 120 NRR and my GRR is 98. Give me that promotion. It's like one renewal cycle. You don't know that you actually have the skills. So I do like this idea, even though it's very frustrating as an IC who's been in a role for a couple of years.
Stop calling yourself an IC. Your title's IC, but you're not an IC. You're a mentor. You're a leader.
Yeah. But practically here too, like I haven't had a title bump in 3 years. And there has been a shift for me, not so much of a patience, but of a mastery that once you get up to these kind of elevated steps, we're now looking at what our upskilling looks like without a title bump. And I'm taking a lot more value in the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm able to provide than just a line item on a LinkedIn profile, right? And I'm really curious how that's going to kind of like filter down into the younger generation that does have this expectation of like, I graduated from this college and I deserve a director title, right? It's like, well, maybe not.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. Because when you're in that, growth period of before, right? Like you were able to kind of offer that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies offer
rapid.
I mean, seeing promotions in less than a year and things like that as well. It's, I think, very hard to, that's just not sustainable, I guess.
Mm-mm. Well, I do like what you said, though. What are some thoughts that you're having with keeping it flat, but still giving folks like a carrot to work for? Like, how do you get your CSMs to maybe rethink about a career path differently, but still find value in that growth?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different ways that I've been noodling around and really still have to flesh out in more detail. But, one of the ways is, are there strategic initiatives like within the team that they could work closely with me or someone like on the leadership team on as kind of like hey, this is like a stretch project for you. Can you actually not only see it through, but also like showcase that the outcome of it is, impactful as well, right? Like, is that something that, they can gain more skills in, especially if they are interested in potentially, other types of roles like long-term, right? And then within customer success, I think understanding from them, hey, are there, other aspects of like deepening and can you master your relationships at a more senior executive level with the customer? Can you actually influence, can you actually influence them, right? Like into the decisions that you're hoping to get as a CSM. I think that people often, especially on the junior folks on the side, forget that doing the work and the motions is not the same as having that influence and outcome as well. So that's the piece that, again, I still need to probably figure out and workshop the exact how to talk about it and what this means for you as a CSM. But yeah, those are some of the things I've been noodling on a little bit.
Well, I think you can share this episode with your team. Just kind of slide it into their DMs on Slack. Hey guys, I was just on the show. You might want to listen to this entirely. Yeah, between minutes 17 and 20, you may be really interested in the conversation we had.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, and like I do want to say on air, like this is not an easy thing to think about, and I recognize this for everyone. I mean, I felt the same way as well, and I realize now looking back, I was like, how could I have expected like that? I knew how to do all of that. I definitely did not know how to do all of that. And I wouldn't have been able to influence in a similar way that I can do now. Right. So
yeah,
some of that just comes with like the time and the experience as well.
Yeah. And I think in general, like, the societal experience that we have with success is more money, more title, growth, these other things. But because of where we're at as an industry, it is slower. It's going to take time. And we actually have to prove a lot of these metrics out and finding ways to keep people engaged, right? Because that's one of the key things here is that if you have a CSM that leaves after a year, number one, they didn't really do their job, right? Maybe one renewal cycle.
They couldn't even renew themselves.
They couldn't even renew themselves. No, but like that's the idea is like this, what does success as a CSM look like? And I've always said it's like 3 years to like know a customer, like the ins and outs of how these businesses run and how these business cycles run. And we're also as humans, like I got to get to the next step. Like I got to get to the next step as fast as I can without finding those outcomes. And I think that's why leaders like yourself are so important to have this kind of empathy to it, where it's like you're a human being that has goals. And we're going to meet those goals regardless of what your title is, regardless of what your salary band is. Like that's the job here.
Yep. Yeah.
So earlier in the year, Rachel, you guys had a bit of a reorg, and account management is now newly created, you'd mentioned, and you even had some former CSMs join that team. Mm-hmm. One of the things that you'd mentioned to me earlier was the relationship between CS and account management, especially during this time of renewals. And so, like, can you get tactical, whether that's talking about the tools that they're using or the meeting cadence internally or the playbooks, whatever? How are they sharing knowledge and working together, sharing knowledge about the customer and working together between CS and account management to really nab those renewals?
Yeah, so we use Gainsight as our, like our CRM.
What's that?
We have both AMs and customer success accessing Gainsight. I'm curious about, the reactions, John, that you had or Josh on that.
No, because I said, what's that? I don't think you heard me.
Yeah. We just moved off of Gainsight last year. So,
okay.
But that's a whole nother podcast. I'm really excited, but you said something that actually is, you said sales and CS are both in Gainsight, and that's correct, right? That's what you said?
Yes. So so the way that we have Gainsight integrated, so sales can view it like through their Salesforce Gainsight viewer, but a lot of the AMs actually go into Gainsight directly because they are former CS folks and they realize there's a lot of information in Gainsight that they're able to leverage and can use things like CTAs. But the timeline is really helpful. Just having like the overall kind of homepage of the account is really helpful. The scoring on there. So I think because of the fact that a lot of the AMs are former CS folks, and we had launched Gainsight, I think a couple of years ago now. Yeah, almost 2 years now. So those folks had the, I think, fortune of knowing the ins and outs of Gainsight already.
Well, I think it doesn't really matter what tool you use, but the idea of having sales and CS in a similar tool that allows the communication to happen and the account data to be shared is the key. And there's so many organizations that I've been a part of where it's like CS is over here, sales is over there. And they're like, why do we have this problem? Why are they talking to each other? It's like our data exists in completely different worlds. I like that model though of AMs. I'm seeing a lot more organizations take kind of that model where CS is kind of growing a little bit. Maybe you get renewals and growth and some other things that kind of get that AME title. It's just waves, right? We're going back to where we were 10 years ago.
I feel like I see kind of like the org structure waves happening similar to what you were saying, like even within Komodo, but elsewhere I'm talking to colleagues as well, where you had kind of, your sales exec, right? Or, your AE, and then you have your AM, and then you have a CS person, and then you still have like a support org. And then now, sometimes you like combine AM and CS together. Yeah. And then sometimes that's actually just one role, right? Because you're trying to tie for efficiencies. And I think probably all of these organizational structures really just depend on the maturity of your product and the maturity of like the market for your product as well. So that's my hypothesis. I'm sure, other folks may share that. Cool.
Well, Rachel, I think we're going to leave it at that. This was a great episode. Really fun to talk to you. Fun to learn about all the growth that you've experienced at Komodo in the 5+ years that you've been there. Happy 10-year anniversary to Komodo as well. And we'd love to have you back on the program and see how you're hitting those goals, those renewals, those relationships between CS and AM. And this was a pleasure.
Yeah, sounds great. It was great to see you, Josh.